This is the Money Hour with your host, Tina Mitchell, on Alternative Talk, AM 1150. Now, back to the show with local mortgage and finance expert, Tina Mitchell.
Welcome back to the Money Hour with your host and mortgage expert, Tina Mitchell, right here on 1150 AM KKNW, the Saturday, January 17th show, bringing in expert advice and inside knowledge on today's events in our local economy and how they can affect your money. If you're hearing my show at a different time or day, you are listening to a rebroadcast, but you can always call into the show at 1-855-400-1150. Again, that's 1-855-400-1150 or online at themoneyhour.com. In studio right now, a regular contributor of the show. I really love and appreciate Andy coming in. Andy Landis, nationally known author and speaker on the subject of Medicare, Medicaid, and Social Security. Andy, thank you so much for coming back into studio.
Great to be here. Thank you for having me here, Tina.
Always a pleasure to have a conversation with you and just a favorite with my listeners on the information that you have to provide them. So I just really appreciate it. A little bit about Andy. Andy is one of the nation's foremost authorities on Social Security and Medicare, in demand nationwide as an author, speaker, and consultant. Andy has Social Security experience spanning 37 years, gained while working at Social Security Administration, AARP, multinational corporations like Boeing, and his own practice, Thinking Retirement. He is an author of the book Social Security, The Inside Story and Where I Retire, available on Amazon. He is a regular blogger for the Wall Street Journal's Market Watch site. On TV, he has appeared on Fox Business News and PBS and is a frequent guest on radio. On my show, as often as I can get in, I have Andy in studio, and Andy lives in Seattle, and with K, keyboards, camper, computers, cars, and sometimes kids. Wow, Andy.
It's all true.
It is. I know it's all true. So let's go ahead and talk about Social Security. Can I work and get Social Security at the same time as what we're answering for the listeners today? And what is the answer, Andy?
Well, first of all, it's a great question. I get this question a lot. Either I'm still working, can I get Social Security on top of that? Or I'm getting Social Security and I want to take a job, can I do that? And, more and more people are doing that as part of their retirement plan. Maybe it's working part-time. Maybe it's an encore career, something huge and big. Now, the answer is there's different rules whether you're under full retirement age or over full retirement age. And full retirement age is currently 66. But the listeners, it could be anywhere from 65 to 67 based on their birth year. So the easy one is if you're over that full retirement age, if you're over 66, there's no penalty at all for working. You can get full paychecks and full Social Security at the same time. So go for it. Go ahead and take the job. Now, I would point out that if you're getting Social Security disability, there's much different and more complicated work rules. So let's stick to just regular retirement today, Tina.
Perfect. And so, Andy, what if I'm under the full retirement age? What if I send my husband back to work?
Yeah, you have to ask the hard one, didn't you? Okay, the deal there is if you're under full retirement age, there's a penalty on your Social Security if you earn more than the annual work limit. So in 2015, the limit is $15,720. Okay. Hey, you can throw numbers around. I can throw numbers around too. So $15,720 for the year. Now, only work income counts towards that. So I'm only talking about wages from employment or self-employment income from your own business. Other income does not count towards that. So if you're in less than the can we call it 16,000? If you're in less than the 16,000, there's no penalty. You get full paychecks and full Social Security. If you're in over that, there is a penalty. So say, for example, you have a $15,000 part-time job. You get all your paychecks minus taxes plus full Social Security at the same time. So it can be a good raise.
Yeah.
If you're earning over the $15,720 or $16,000, you'll get penalized, Tina.
So is there ever a time that makes sense when you do the numbers, that it makes sense to have it over the amount and still take Social Security?
It totally does because of the way they compute it.
So how does a listener find that out?
Okay. Well, there's an online calculator, but this is so easy you can almost do it in your head.
Okay.
Here's how it works. For every $2 you earn over that limit, you lose $1 in your Social Security. So let's say I've got like a $20,000 job, and that's $4,000 roughly over the limit. So they'd have to take half of that, or $2,000, out of my Social Security for the year.
Okay.
So, and it's really kind of dumb. It's kind of a meat axe approach, where Social Security totally stops your Social Security until they collect the penalty back. Then they start the payments up again for the rest of the year. So the bottom line is, even with the penalty, you definitely come out money ahead, Tina.
Got it. So, Andy, if they stop some of the payments, will I ever get that money back?
Yeah, this is a really weird provision. It's a little hard to describe, so stick with me.
Okay.
The bottom line is, let's say they take away some of your payments between the time you start your Social Security and the time you reach full retirement age.
Okay.
So you've lost some payments. When you reach full retirement age, Social Security does a look back, and they count how many payments were stopped, and they actually make it like you filed for Social Security later by that many months. So the bottom line is, you get a big fat raise when you reach full retirement age for any payment they took away. So it's not like it's a permanent downer. It's not like you're damaged permanently, which is pretty cool, Tina. Oh, and by the way, that's all automatic. You don't have to do anything.
Okay, awesome. And what if you're turning 66 this year?
That's another interesting thing.
Everything regarding Social Security is interesting.
It's not as complicated as mortgages, luckily.
That is very true.
Because I couldn't do mortgages. But there's another set of rules for the year that you turn 66. And in that year, there's actually a higher work limit, and it's almost 42,000 this year.
Okay.
And they only count work before the month you turn 66. Hey, I was born in April. There's no way I could earn 42,000 in the first 3 months.
April what?
April 2.
I'm April 26th.
Wow, we're
You're not a
almost birthday
Taurus,
buddies.
but we are. So go ahead. Sorry for the interrupt there,
that's
Andy.
Cool. So they only count the work before you turn 66 towards that 42,000. And then, even if there is some over that, they only count $1 for every $3 over the limit. So for the bottom line, most people, there's actually no work penalty starting in January of the year you turn 66.
Got it.
So it's even better, Tina.
So what about working while over 66?
Starting that very month. So like I turn 66, I will turn 66 someday on April 2. Starting on April 1, they don't care how much I earn. You just get full paychecks and full Social Security at the same time.
Okay,
Starting
perfect.
That month. Yeah.
So do you pay FICA taxes on current work if getting Social Security?
You'd think you'd get out of it, wouldn't you? Yeah, you got to pay your FICA taxes anyway. Otherwise, bookkeepers like my lovely spouse would go crazy trying to figure out who gets the tax and who doesn't get the tax. There is some good news about that, because your current work can increase your Social Security payment in the future. What they do is, if you're paying FICA taxes, that means your Social Security earnings are going on your Social Security work record, and your Social Security payment is based on the best 35 years on that record.
Okay.
So usually the new work raises your lifetime average earnings, and you get a raise. So basically, everybody gets a raise in January from inflation. And then if you were working, you often get another raise towards the end of the year to take account of last year's work. So it's kind of cool. You get an increase.
And what about the impact on income taxes if I work and get Social Security?
Well, most people don't pay income tax on their Social Security, but if their total income rises over a certain threshold, they do. So you're more likely to pay income taxes on your Social Security if you have a job. If
Yes,
you're
I was usually almost everybody that I work with in mortgages, when they have Social Security, they're paying taxes. But if they weren't, then they're not buying a house.
True.
Because
One or the other. Take your pick. So some of Social Security is tax-free, though. So your income goes up a lot more than your taxes do. So again, it's definitely worth it, Tina.
Okay. So any other tips that you have on anything new that's happening? Is there anything new happening in 2015 when it comes to Social Security, or no?
I hesitate because my lovely spouse has told me about something in the news that I have not seen yet. But Congress is talking about taking away the rule. There's actually 3 different trust funds underlying Social Security and Medicare, and 2 of them are to make Social Security payments come out. And one of them, the Disability Trust Fund, is really short on money. But that doesn't matter because the two trust funds, ever since 1983, can freely borrow from each other.
Mm-hmm.
So it doesn't matter as long as there's money in one trust fund, the other one's fine too.
Yes.
Congress is talking about taking away the ability to borrow between the funds. I don't know what would motivate such a change, but I do want to get my eye on it and see what's going on there. Why would you do that? What's the plus? Where's the win? I
Sure.
don't see that. So that could be a change because then the disability fund would run out of money in the next year or two, which would cause all kinds of uproar in Washington, D.C.
Yeah.
I don't think it would affect people's payments, and the retirement trust fund has plenty of money in it, so it's not an emergency.
Sure.
But they would have to fund that disability fund somehow if they can't borrow.
Got it. And Annie, you don't hear as much now because the economy is recovering. So whenever the economy recovers, people kind of, it's a lot more positive attitude people have. But in the crisis and in the recent even, I mean, there's still some concern about Social Security. And can you talk about that? Because as many times as I've had you in studio, that's probably the most common question is Social Security going to be around for me?
Good point. Well, tell me how old you are, and I'll tell you what your chances are.
47.
No, just kidding.
It's all good.
It's true. Well, Social Security has enough money to run the program at this level, just like it is now, with no changes till 2033. After that, it's not the end of the road. It's just that they only have about 3/4 of the money they need. So they have a shortfall, close to 20 years from now. It's coming closer now that it's 2015, isn't it? Mm-hmm. So
every year a little closer.
A little bit closer. Congress does have plenty of time to fix the problem, and they always have in the past. But I just want to point out, it's not like it's going broke in the next 2 years or something.
Yes.
We got, 17 years? I can't do math when I'm on your show.
I can't do math either, and I do mortgages for a living.
Yeah.
As long as I have a calculator, it's all good.
That's how it works.
Yeah.
So there is money there, and there does need to be something done for the next generation.
Got it. So, Andy, what about Social Security being reduced by investment income?
The really cool thing about Social Security is it's insurance. Mm-hmm. If you work and you're under full retirement age, like we were saying, that could reduce your Social Security. Otherwise, investment income does not reduce your Social Security. Now, I'm going to put a little star behind that because that could increase your taxes and make some of your Social Security taxable. So it could indirectly reduce it by making some of it taxable, but it doesn't hit the Social Security directly.
Okay.
So, yeah, you talk capital gains, dividends, even rental income for people that are into real estate. Unless it's business income or wages, you get full Social Security anyway. Okay,
got it. And so let's talk about a young parent. If something happens and a young parent dies, 25 or 30, will there be Social Security payments for their kids? How does that work?
That is huge, and people need to know this. If you know anybody that suffers a loss like that in their family, especially if there's a child in the family, send them to Social Security. Because the child, if the deceased was a worker and paying their taxes, then Social Security will pay that child until they're out of high school. Yeah. And it can be hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Wow.
The average is over $300,000. So definitely send them to Social Security. Okay. If they wait over 6 months, they're losing money.
Do you think that there's a large percentage of people that are missing out on opportunities with Social?
Yes.
Why is that, Andy?
Well, for example, I hear people say, yeah, children can get Social Security if somebody passes away, which we just mentioned.
Yes.
But they don't know that a child, for example, can get Social Security on their parent who retires or becomes disabled.
And so explain that.
So if anybody's on Social Security, their spouse, their ex-spouse, and their child are all potentially eligible anytime somebody goes on Social Security.
Okay.
So you got to work that into your retirement plan. You might not realize, I hear all the time, you mean my spouse gets a payment too? Yep. Wait, I've got a 15-year-old at home. Well, you got 3 or 4 more years for payments on the 15-year-old too. So it can make a big difference in the planning and maybe make retirement doors open for you. Of
course. And if you've got better opportunity, if you know what's coming up and how to plan for it, it's always a better scenario for you in the long haul. What about the best resource, Andy, for people to get information on anything regarding Social Security?
Well,
you got to talk about your book too.
I would say check out my book, Social Security: The Inside Story. You can see it on my website at andylandis.biz, or just go to your favorite bookstore or Amazon. It's available in Kindle. So Social Security, The Inside Story by Andy Landis. There's a great overview booklet on the Social Security website. SSA.gov is a fantastic web resource. That's the Social Security website. And if you page down to the menu that says Publications, go to the Publications and search for How Work, because the work booklet is called How Work Affects Your Benefits. So look for that for the work topic, but they also have other publications there, so definitely poke around on the Social Security website.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Andy, if you were to tell my listeners the number one misinformed information on Social Security, what would that be?
I would guess the number one mistake is just not planning ahead, not finding out what you could get and when you can get it. You got to know what you can get and when you can get it. And once you have those numbers, you can actually do some concrete planning around your retirement. And you know what?
Yeah.
You can't do that planning without those numbers. So
Exactly.
definitely get those. Worst mistake is probably just to retire and take the Social Security immediately, not checking out your options, like waiting or taking a spouse payment first, or there's all kinds of cool things you can do around your claim date.
Yeah. So what's keeping you most busy right now, Andy? What's happening in your arena?
Well, for example, tomorrow I'm going and talking to a whole room full of attorneys. Help me, help me.
Boy, that sounds exciting.
I'm training a bunch of elder law attorneys on Social Security. The following week, I'm going to a couple of employers, and then I'm going down to Portland to do some talks. So getting out and doing the talks. I'm also getting a YouTube channel started up. So you'll find that if you go to my website, andylandis.biz, with just a couple of short 5-minute bites on how Social Security works.
That's awesome. Well,
fun.
Andy, thank you so much, as always, for coming into studio. It's a pleasure to have you here, and just the wealth of information that you have to share with my listeners. I greatly appreciate it.
Thank you, Tina. Keep on planning.
Perfect. Coming up next on the Money Hour, lack of inventory and the continued increased numbers of consumers wanting to take advantage of today's real estate market. And then you add in the cost to borrow. What does this mean? It means a multiple offer environment. Handling this environment takes strategy to win. And if you're considering purchasing real estate, this is an important segment you will not want to miss. Shara Bowman-Klug with Keller Williams Bellevue right here on 1150 AM KKNW.